Dee Dee, what did you think of the halftime show? All right, y'all, welcome to Higa's Playbook, the show that talks about sports, dating, and all things life as a Seattle girl living in the Bay. Now, we just came off the biggest game of the NFL football season. It was Super Bowl 58, hosted in Las Vegas, Nevada at Allegiant Stadium. Now, it was going against two teams that I have zero emotions for. So was I rooting for a team? Not necessarily. I honestly just wanted a good football game. I just wanted it to be a close game the entire time, and that it was. It was really funny because my friends and I were all obviously texting each other during the game, and I'm from Seattle, so I'm a Seahawks fan, and we were like, how do both teams lose? No offense, everybody. But then we're like, oh my gosh, can it end in a tie? Because in regular season, football games can end in a tie, but postseason, they cannot. Rules for playoffs and possession change too. We'll get into that because there was a little bit of confusion. All right, let's just get into the game. So the first half of the game was literally battle of the D. And when I say D, I'm talking about defense. There was lots of fumbles. There was lots of turnovers. There was lots of frustration. And it was crazy, but it was a really good first half. Very low scoring. I believe it was 10-3 by the end of the first half. But there were a lot of crucial plays. I honestly feel like the Niners defense, they were on fire. They were so lit, and they were putting so much pressure on Patrick Mahomes, which was the reason why the score is what it was by the end of the first half. There was a crucial penalty by Kansas City, which allowed the Niners to advance another 15 yards, which the next play was a trick play to score a touchdown. I think Jennings threw to CMC and then he scored, but it was like the longest throw in the air. Like, I think even the announcers were like, oh my God, the ball's in the air for a really long time. And then Christian caught the ball, and then Christian being Christian, he ran the ball into the end zone. He had an amazing game per usual. I think he got Offensive Player of the Year too. But there was some crazy things that happened as well too. Greenlaw of the Niners, he was about ready to run into the game, and then he tore his Achilles. And I think Achilles injuries happen at the most random times, not even when they're playing. It's just, it just sucks. So sending positive vibes and positive thoughts to Greenlaw. But like I said, both sides had great pressure on the offense, on the QBs. It was a defensive game for the first half. Now, as we get into the second half, there was obviously a turn of events. I don't know what the halftime speech was, but I know there's a lot of frustration, especially from like Travis Kelce. If you've seen, Travis Kelce was yelling in Andy Reid's face. Yeah, there was just a lot of heated moments. I think they were just trying to figure it out and get everything together, and which they did in the second half. Again, very defensive game. Turnovers. There was a fumble after a punt, which the Kansas City did recover, and then that led to their first touchdown. So that was the first touchdown for Kansas City, and that was the first lead during the entire Super Bowl, okay? And the Niners did come back and score again, so it was a little bit of back and forth, which was finally made the game a little bit more exciting. I think during the halftime show, I forgot there was an actual football game going on, but we'll get to the halftime show in a little bit. But the game started to finally pick up. People started finally scoring. There was a big fourth down conversion that Kittle helped out with. That scored into a touchdown. But what was crucial in that touchdown is the blocked field goal, which, I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it. That blocked field goal cost the 49ers the Super Bowl win. If they made that field goal, they would have been ahead at the very end. And I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was a low snap. I don't know if it was a late snap. I don't know if it was a low kick. It could have been all of the above. But that moment was super crucial. And I was texting with my friends. I was like, oof, that blocked field goal that might have been the game decision for the Niners. Kansas City later came back, tied the game up again. It was just a back and forth battle the entire time. But then San Francisco charged down the field and made another field goal. So now it is 16-19 with less than 2 minutes left. But I honestly feel like anytime you put the ball in Patrick Mahomes' hand, it's this 2-minute drill. I think Geno Smith was pretty good at this 2-minute drill. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is at another level, but this 2-minute drill that these quarterbacks practice is so crucial, and this is why. Patrick Mahomes charged down the field with less than 2 minutes left to score a field goal to tie the game and go over into overtime. Which, this is what we wanted. We wanted this to be a close game. This is Super Bowl. This is supposed to be the best game of the best two teams in the NFL going at it, and this is what we got. All right, so apparently the Niners didn't know the new playoff overtime rules. So I guess the overtime rules are very different than regular season. In regular season, whoever scores first wins the game. In playoffs, both teams get a possession of the ball. So whether you score a touchdown or a field goal, the other team still gets a chance to score. The Niners didn't know that. And so it was funny, Jonathan and I were just talking about, so like Eric Armstead and all the Niners found out about the rules the same time as Ice Spice found out. So this is where we were at. But the Niners started with the ball. They got really lucky. There was a penalty which advanced them. So they got really lucky, and then they scored a field goal. Whew. And then here comes Kansas City. They quickly get to a 4th and 1, which obviously you have to go for it. And Patrick Mahomes, being Patrick Mahomes, ran the ball and gets his first down. I think he took a lot of charge in the second half, and you could see he rushed the ball so much, and he was getting so many first downs. He was just gaining yards, and he was just taking charge for the team. But yeah, I don't know. Kansas City, I think anytime you're in that position, the announcers were saying that, you know, when you're in a playoff situation and you have the ball second, it's almost more of an advantage to have the ball second than have the ball first. So you kind of know what you need to do to score and to win. And yeah, I don't know. And that was it. There was like less than 3 seconds left. Mahomes threw the ball. Touchdown. Kansas City, Super Bowl champions. Again. Yes, again. I don't know. I was just talking about this with Jonathan, my producer, and I was saying that, you know, when you go watch these games, and I was just at the Warriors game on Saturday against the Suns. When the game is so close and you give it to your best player on the team, so obviously Steph is the best player on the Warriors, there's like not much time left, and you give him the ball, you can almost guarantee that he is going to score and win the game, which he did. In this instance with Mahomes, it's like you have to be praying. Like, I know Brock Purdy and all the other Niners were praying on the sideline that something was going to happen, that somehow Mahomes wouldn't be Mahomes, but let's face it, it's Super Bowl. He has played with like the worst sprained ankle. Like, he has been in so many situations. That is not his first rodeo. So he is so confident. He's so poised. He just plays. He's just so calm when he plays too. If you watch him, it's like, it's wild. You don't feel any sort of stress. You don't feel any sort of anxiety or pressure. He's just Patrick Mahomes. And it was so crazy. But it was really cool to see. I mean, he's a 3-time Super Bowl champion, now 3-time Super Bowl MVP. We talked about this in a couple episodes previously. Like, he is on track to being the GOAT. I mean, this is only, his 7th season, but his numbers are crazy. I mean, his rings are crazy now. And I don't know. Is Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid the next Bill Belichick and Tom Brady? I guess we'll find out. But yeah, so I'm happy that the Super Bowl game was I'm happy the Super Bowl game was a close game. That's all I asked for. I literally stayed home, watched the game with Dee Dee, and did a face mask because I was not going to go out. I just didn't have the energy. My social battery has been running low lately. So always remember to listen to your body and listen to yourself. And it's okay to say no. I think that's one thing that in therapy on Thursday got through my mind. All right, enough with the game. The game was cool and all. We haven't talked about game day fits in a while. Let's do that really quick. On Kansas City, I was scrolling through their Instagram. Sneed, he had, I'm a sucker for a suit. And I think a lot of them were actually wearing suits on Super Bowl Sunday, which I'm really happy they did. It was a good look. But we got Sneed. He was wearing this like red and black suit with this big ass chain on his neck. I love a good chain. What I liked about the shirt he was wearing underneath his jacket was it had no collar. So is it a collarless shirt? I don't know. So Sneed, I give you. But then a lot of people were talking about Travis Kelce's outfit too. Sequin suit with the nice pointy boots. I did see the designer draw up his outfit, and the shoe was a little bit different. And I may have liked the shoe that the designer drew up a little bit better than the boots, but it was all right. It was all right. But I think for Kansas City, the best dress was Sneed. And then let's go to the Niners. I'm only choosing one person. Fred Warner was wearing this white and black suit. I think it was Louis Vuitton. And Fred Warner is already a good-looking man. And so to put that suit on him, so nice. So Fred Warner, congratulations to you and Sydney. You're going to have a baby soon too. But Fred, you look great in that suit, man. So good. All right, next, Super Bowl commercials. It was really funny because I was watching the game. There were very limited times you could go to the bathroom because A, you didn't want to miss anything of the game, right? And then B, you didn't want to miss any commercials, even though you can go back and look, but watching them in real time is actually the best. But my favorite NFL commercial was the NFL Game Day ticket commercial because it had to do with all the bird team. So like the Seahawks were on it, the Ravens, the Cardinals. And it was just funny. There were just a bunch of birds flying around, and Tyler Lockett was making bird noises and flapping his wings. And I was just laughing the entire time. Obviously, there's going to be commercials with dogs. Budweiser always has their horse and dog commercial, which is great. There was a Kia one that my mom really liked about this little ice skater girl. Her grandpa wasn't at the comp, so her dad drove her through the snow and mountains so her grandpa could watch her ice skate in the pond outside of the house. That was super cute. There was a Michael Cera commercial for his CeraVe, which was pretty funny. Popeyes now has wings. Ooh, and the Wicked trailer for the new Wicked movie with Ariana Grande. That one looks so good. I cannot wait to see that. And then Beyonce, being the marketing queen that she is, just, drops a song during the Super Bowl. Everybody was freaking out. Like, my friends were texting me. I was trying to find the song on Spotify. It wasn't even on Spotify yet when the commercial dropped. I think we had to wait like a few minutes, but I don't know. I was searching. We're all searching frantically for this song, but she's marketing genius right there. Let me know what your favorite Super Bowl commercials were, because there was obviously so many. Something that I didn't really know about until recently is that they had a Nickelodeon broadcast for the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl, this one was the most watched Super Bowl at 123.4 million viewers, right? And if you think about it, that just like counts one TV, right? Or one household watching it. So that one household could have like how many people in that house, right? Because everybody was having Super Bowl parties. But Nickelodeon was doing a broadcast, which I think is incredible. Like SpongeBob was talking, he'll pop up. And then I think there was a really funny meme where obviously there was not a lot of scoring. And then it's like when the team finally scored, it was like 3 hours later, and then they finally scored a touchdown. But Dora the Explorer would come up and explain a holding call or explain what other penalty was going on, which I think is genius. This could help people out, just really understand football, maybe get more kids involved, but even like adults who don't understand football and like rules are always changing. The way she explained it was amazing. It was so good. So shout out to Nickelodeon. This could be the future, right, of the NFL. Maybe they show some NFL games on Nickelodeon on Sundays, or maybe just like a Monday night game. I don't know, or a Sunday night game. Choose one game to show a week on Nickelodeon. I think that'd be amazing. So shout out to Nickelodeon. There were so many celebrities in Vegas for this Super Bowl, and I was here for all of it. Obviously, Taylor Swift was there with Ice Spice, and Blake Lively was there. And then who was that other girl with her? And then another friend. It was a very interesting posse, I must say. But when you think about it, right, Vegas is a pretty good location for a Super Bowl, right? They got all the hotels. They got all the clubs and party venues. So pre and post Super Bowl was poppin'. Like, I was just in Vegas a few weeks ago for my friend's bachelorette party, and you forget how large these clubs are and the amount of people that they can fit into these clubs. It is insane. But it's so cool. So I don't know. I feel like Vegas was a pretty good place for Super Bowl. The moment we've all been waiting for. The halftime show. I don't even know if I can talk about it without like shedding a tear. For me personally, this halftime show is probably one of the best halftime shows that I've ever seen in my entire life. And I am 32 years old. No, I'm not. I'm not 32. I am 36 years old. What the hell? What just happened? Did we go back in time? Pandemic age. I did lose a few. Oh my gosh. Okay, but yeah, this halftime show was, I literally have no words, and it was so nostalgic. Dee Dee, what did you think of the halftime show? Dee Dee loved it. Actually, she was kind of terrified and scared because I was literally standing up the entire game or the entire show and singing and dancing. I did record my reactions and I was crying as well. Because I think for me and a lot of my friends, it's just so nostalgic. Like, music is so cool that you can hear a song and remember exactly where you were at that point of time. Like what relationship just happened, where like a lot of these songs remind me of college. And just like, especially when it gets to like Confessions and like Love in This Club, it reminds me of college. And it was just so good. And the fact that he brought out Alicia Keys, her was on the guitar. Who else did he have? will.i.am, Jermaine Dupri, Ludacris. Once Ludacris came out, I lost my shit, y'all. Like, I've seen Ludacris perform at a Raiders game in Vegas, and that was like the best like 3 minutes of my life. So the fact that Usher brought him out, I loved it so much. And you know, it was just so good. It was so good. Like, this was his set list. He started with Caught Up and You Don't Have to Call, which if you watch those music videos and like You Don't Have to Call, when he's like getting ready in his robe and he's dancing in his socks and then he's with his friends and his like Escalade, like, music videos are not the same. And then he went to Superstar, Love in This Club. Love in This Club is so good. It reminds me of one of my best friends, Debbie, because she choreographed a dance to that song when we were in college. My Boo, obviously, with Alicia Keys, Confessions Part 2. Oh my gosh. And then we went to Nice and Slow, Burn, You Got It Bad. Those songs I think remind me of college because it's like when you're going through a breakup, those are the songs you listen to. And then he started to turn it up with, oh my gosh, Turn Down for What? Oh, with Lil Jon. Lil Jon was there. And then obviously he had to end with Yeah. And I don't know. It was perfect. I think it was one of the best, like I said, it was one of the best halftime shows I've ever watched, ever witnessed. If you weren't up and dancing, I saw this meme and it said, if you did not illegally download any of these songs off of LimeWire and put hella viruses on your family's computer, I do not want to hear what you have to say about this halftime show, which is very true. So shout out to all the millennials. Shout out to all my friends who loved it just as much as I did. It was so good. I had so many tears. I don't even know why I was crying. And I think what started it was, the song that started to make me cry was when he was like, this is for you. You, my number one superstar. And then when he starts to sing his like notes, everybody was singing that too. So shout out to Usher and everybody that was involved in that Super Bowl halftime show. So good, so good. 20 out of 10 for me. 20 out of 10. All right, some of the funny things that were going on though after the Super Bowl, what was it? During COVID, when The Weeknd was the performer, all the memes that happened because he was like making everybody motion sickness when he was in that tunnel and he was wearing red. Like the funny ones were when you're staring in the microwave waiting for your food to be done cooking or warming up. Those were funny. So we have lots of memes. Obviously there's a lot going on and a lot of people are talking. When Usher's like doing his like ticking dance one of my favorite memes was checking to make sure I have my keys, phone, wallet before I leave the house. Other one was walking into a spider web. This is what I do. And then so there was a moment when Usher and Alicia Keys were kind of just like hugging each other from behind. And people were like, oh no, Swiss Beats is not going to like that. But I loved his response because he was like, why are y'all talking about this? Y'all are talking about the wrong damn thing. He said, tonight's performance was nothing but amazing with two amazing giants. And I appreciate that because he's like, a performance is a performance. And I think that people forget that when you're performing, you're almost acting. You know what I mean? So it's like when actors are kissing people on screen and it's not their husband or wife, like they're not going to trip about that. So shout out to Usher, shout out to Alicia, shout out to Swiss Beats, husband of the year. Another thing that was really funny was, obviously people were talking about the outfits and Usher's outfits. One of my friends said something about like Ludacris's boots. And I was like, well, his first line was, watch out, my outfit's ridiculous, So you can't really judge him off that. Jermaine Dupri, people were talking about how he looks like CeeLo, talking about his socks, looking like a lot of socks little Asian girls like I used to wear when I was little. But he said those socks are Louis Vuitton, and I was not wearing Louis Vuitton socks when I was little. So shout out to Jermaine. He did his thing up there. He had a lot of fun. It was so cool. Okay, one more thing, or a couple more, Ice Spice. So Ice Spice was hanging out with Taylor Swift, and Jason Kelce was in the suite with them. And I think one of the funniest memes, there's so many, of him talking to Ice Spice and him asking if he's the shit or if he's the fart, or when she said, bitch, you the shit, you ain't even the fart, he's like, I felt that. Those memes are hilarious because if you heard that song that just came out by her, you would get it. And they're just like two very different people. And then last but not least, there was a moment when Travis Kelce was yelling at Andy Reid. Not quite sure what words were exchanged. Obviously, we said there was a lot of frustration going on. But I think the most common one that I saw was, I want to speak to your manager. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe it was Super Bowl Sunday, y'all. What do we have next? What are we looking forward to next in sports? Basketball season is still going on. Ooh, March Madness is coming. Oh gosh, it's already February. It's Lovers Month. Baseball season. Training camp is spring training is almost about to start. All right. Although the regular NFL season has come to an end, we still have lots that we can talk about. A lot of changes happening. The Seahawks obviously got a new coach as well, so we'll talk about that more a little bit later. But just because the NFL season is over does not mean that we're going to stop talking about football. There's lots happening, lots of sports. I'm excited. Baseball season is going to start to happen soon as well. We'll talk more basketball. I don't know. Maybe we'll get a little bit more personal into my personal life and talk about dating. Oh, we'll talk about The Bachelor, which I need to watch and catch up. But yeah, this will be a good way for us to kind of segue a little bit out of football, but still talk about football. But yeah, I hope everybody had a great Super Bowl Sunday. It was amazing. I loved it so much. Even though the Seahawks did not play in the Super Bowl, I think this was probably one of the best Super Bowls I've ever seen, because more so the halftime show. And I hope all my Niners fans all my Niners friends are doing okay. So shout out to all y'all. Better luck next year. God, I feel like such a bitch for saying that. All right, well, my name is Alex. Please like, subscribe, do your thing. Love ya. Bye.